What is an American name? What happens when we invite everyone to celebrate their name?
The name jar encourages us to adopt an attitude, celebrating differences and embracing positive self-talk. The Name Jar by Ying Sok Choi. Throughout the school bus window, Yoonhae looked out at the strange buildings and houses on the way to her new school. It was her first day and she was both nervous and excited. She fingered the little block of wood in her pocket, and she remembered leaving her grandma at the airport in Korea. Her grandma had whipped away Yoonhae's tears. Oh, okay. All right. Whipped away Yoonhae's tears and handed her an ink pad and a small red stain and patch. Your name is inside, she had said. My name, Eunhae had wondered. Again, she took out the red pouch to look at the wooden block with her name carved in it. As she ran her fingers along the grooves and red gills of the Korean characters, she pictured her grandmother's smile. Is that thing for show and tell? A little boy asked Eunhae, surprising her. Eunhae looked up as more kids leaned over. No, it's mine, Eunhae answered, quickly putting the pouch back in her pocket. Are you new here? What's your name? A girl asked. Eunhae, said Eunhae. Une? The girl asked, scrunched up her face. Une? Some kids chanted. No, Eunhae corrected. It's spelled Unhei. It's pronounced Eunhae. Oh, Eunhae, the boy said. Like you, hey. What about hey you? Just then the bus pulled up to the school and the doors opened. Eunhae hurried to get off. You, hey, bye-bye, the kids yelled as she left. Eunhae felt herself blush. Eunhae stood in the doorway of her new noisy classroom. She was relieved that the kids on the bus had gone to other rooms, but her face still felt red. Aren't you going in? Asked curly-haired boy with lots of dots on his face. You're the new girl, right? He asked cheerfully. Eunhae nodded. And before she could walk away, the boy took Mm, the boy took her hand and pulled her through the door. Here's the new girl, he announced so loudly that the teacher met Mr. Cockletus Cockletos almost dropped his glasses. Mr. Cockletos thanked him and, and greeted Unhei. Please welcome our newest student, he said to the class. She and her family just arrived from Korea last week. Unhei smiled boredly and tried not to show her nervousness. What is your name? Someone stated. Unhei pictured the kids on the bus. I haven't picked one yet, she told the class, but I'll let you know by next week. As Mr. Cocotus showed her to her desk, she felt many brown, curious eyes on her. Why doesn't she have a name? She heard someone whisper. Maybe she robbed a bank in Korea and she needs a new identity, a boy replied. On the bus home, nobody teased her, but Unhei kept thinking about her name. How was school, Unhei? Her mother asked when she walked in. Did you understand the teacher? Unhei sleepily nodded. She unpacked her school bag and set the red pouch by a photograph of her grandma. I'm glad you're learning English well, her mother said. You must study hard, behave nicely, and get good grades to show that you're a good Korean. I will, replied Unhei. But I think I would like my own American name, she said quickly. Her mother looked at her with a surprise. Why? Unhei is a beautiful name. Your grandma and I went to a name master for it. But it's so hard to pronounce, Unhei complained. I don't want to be different from all the other American kids. You are different, Unhei, her mother said. That's a good thing. Unhei just wrinkled up her nose. Later that day, Unhei and her mother went grocery shopping in their new neighborhood. They passed Battle's Falafel, Tony's Pizza, and Dot's Deli. A a big graphic
Graffiti painted.
graffiti painted garbage truck roared like a lion as it took off down the street. Nothing sounded or looked familiar until they got to Kim's Market. The sign was in both English and Korean. Her mother picked up cabbage to make kimchi. Kimchi.
Kimchi?
Yeah, kimchi Korean-style spicy pickled cabbage, and other vegetables and meat. She also found some seaweed, Eunhae's favorite for soup. It made Eunhae smile. Do you like soup with seaweed in it? Mm, just because we're moved to America, her mother said, doesn't mean we stop eating Korean food. At the checkout counter, a friendly man smiled at Eunhae. Helping your mother the with the shopping, he asked. Eunhae nodded. I'm Mr. Kim, he said. And what's your name? Eunhae, she answered. Ha, what a beautiful name, he said. Doesn't it mean grace? Eunhae nodded again. My mother and grandmother went to a name master for it, she told him. A graceful name for a graceful girl, Mr. Kim said as he put their groceries into bags. Welcome to the neighborhood, Eunhae. That evening, Eunhae stood in front of the bathroom mirror. Hi, my name is Amanda, she said cheerfully. Then she wrinkled up her nose. Hi, my name is Laura. Maybe not. Her smile turned down. Nothing sounds right. Nothing felt right. I don't think American kids will like me, she worried as she began to brush her teeth. Hi, he, my name, I do shizzy, she said to the mirror with her mouth full of toothpaste. The next morning, when Eunhae arrived at school, she found a glass jar on her desk with some pieces of paper in it. Eunhae took one out, read it aloud. Read it aloud.
Read aloud.
Yeah, it said it. Daisy, that's my baby sister nickname. But she said, you can use it if you want. Said
Said
Sydney, who sat next to her. Eunhae took out the rest of the paper. Tamila, she read, I got it from a storybook, said Nate. She was smart and brave. Eunhae nodded and unfolded another piece. Wednesday. Yeah, you came here on Wednesday, said Ralph. Thank you for your help. A smile spread over Eunhae's face. Ralph quickly said, well, put more names in. You can pick whatever you like, or pick them all, and you'll have the longest name in history. At 3 o'clock, the bell rang for the end of school day. Eunhae looked out the window and saw it was sprinkling. It's the same rain, she thought, but in different places. She watched other kids leaving in groups. "Hey," a familiar voice called out to her. Eunhye turned around to see the curly-haired boy again. "I'm Joey," she, he said. "And you? Don't you have any name?" Eunhye thought for a moment. "Well, I can show you," she said, and took out the small red pouch. She pressed the wooden block on the ink pad and then stamped it on a piece of paper.
"This is my name stamp. My name stamp," she said. "My grandma gave it to me in Korea. I can use it as a signature when I open a bank account or write a letter. And whenever I miss my grandma, I can use it to fill a piece of paper. Want to try it?" She offered the stamp to Joey and carefully inked the stamp and pressed it hard on the paper. The red characters gleamed against the whiteness. "Wow, that's beautiful," Joey said. "Can I keep the paper?" "Sure," Eunhye said. And then the two of them shared her umbrella as they walked to the school bus. Every day the jar got fuller with more names, and Eunhye read them all. She found a few names she liked: Miranda, Stella, Avery. They sounded interesting. "I hope you choose the name I put in," Marco told her at snack time. "I put in three more," said Ralph. "Madison, Park, and Lex. They're my favorite street names. Maybe you should use them. Maybe you should use close. Maybe you should close your eyes and draw a name," Rosie suggested. Ralph frowned. "That's silly. What if she doesn't like the name she draws?" "Well, we didn't get to choose our names when we were born, did we?" Rosie agreed. Everyone thought about this. When Eunhye got home from school, the day her little brother ran to give her a letter. It was from her grandma. She opened it quickly and said, "To my Eunhye, I hope you are enjoying your new school and friends. Be sure to help your mother and your little brother. Here's the Here the moon is up, but there the sun is up. No matter how far apart and no matter how different America is from Korea, you'll always be my Eunhye, your grandma forever." Eunhye took out her wooden stamp and filled a piece of paper with it. She thought for a long time in front of the bathroom mirror. On Saturday, Eunhye walked into Mr. Kim's store. Mr. Kim was helping a customer, but he looked up and greeted her. "Hi, Eunhye." "Hello, Mr. Kim." Eunhye replied. She felt as if she was back in her old neighborhood in Korea. "Hey," said the customer, turning around. It was Joey. "Your name is Eunhye?" he asked. Her, her with her eyes open wide. Eunhye quickly looked at Miss Kim and turned to Joey. She nodded slowly. "Yes, it is pronounced Eunhye, and it means grace." Mr. Gray added Eunhye's Joey. Mr. Kim added Eunhye. Joey said slowly, in time, and this time perfectly. It made Eunhye smile. "I'll have it ready for you tomorrow," said Mr. Kim to Joey. "Thank you." Mr. Kim said, "See you on Monday, Eunhye," Joey said to her. He left before she could ask him why was he at the store. On Monday, Eunhae came to class early to look at the names one last time before the jar wasn't on her desk. Instead, there was a single piece of paper with the name on it. Eunhae slipped it in her pocket. "Where's your name jar?" Ralph asked as soon as he saw it was gone. "I don't know," Eunhae said. "It was on Mr. Kokoto's desk, or any other desk, and it wasn't on the counters or any shelves." As all the other kids arrived, they helped look. Soon, Mr. Kokotos came and Ralph shouted at him, "The name jar is gone? The jar with all the names in it gone?" Mr. Kokotos replied with a look of concern. He asked Eunhae, "Did you get the chance to read all the names?" Eunhae nodded. She took a breath. "I'm ready to introduce myself," she said. Eunhae wrote her name in both English and in Korean on the chalkboard. "I like beautiful names and funny names too. You thought of me. I like funny names and funny names you thought for me," she told the class, "but I realized I like my name the best, so I choose it again. Korean names mean something. Eunhae means grace." "Grace, grace," Eunhae shouted. Ralph. Everyone tried to say, "Eunhae, Eunhae, Eunhae." Eunhae said her name again, slowly and clearly. Soon as the kids began to say it better, even Mr. Kokotos applauded. "Eunhae's choice. I was named after a flower," Rosie whispered to Eunhae. "Lots of American names have meanings too." Mr. Kokotos reminded everyone when the class was dismissed. Eunhae heard her new friend say, "Goodbye. Bye, Eunhae. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, Eunhae." Eunhae said goodbye and then looked around for Joey, but he was already gone. "Eunhae, Eunhae, come downstairs," Mother called up to Eunhae. "Your friend is here." Eunhae rushed down to see who she meant. There stood Joey, and in his arms was the name jar. "Where did you find it?" asked Eunhae breathlessly. Joey looked embarrassed. Well, I took it, but only because I wanted you to keep your own name. And I did. And you did." He reached and pulled out the names. "Do you want to keep them?" he asked. "Thank you. I'll keep them as a souvenir," Eunhae said happily. When she pulled out a piece of paper from her pocket, Do you want this back?" Joey grinned. "You can keep it. I'll return the name jar to the class. Maybe you could put some Korean nicknames in it for us. Names with good meanings." "I could do that," agreed Eunhae. "I've already got my Korean nickname," said Joey. "Mr. Kim helped me choose it." Carefully, he pulled a small silver felt pouch from his pocket. Then he took a dark wooden stamp with beautiful Korean characters carved sharply into it. He pressed it on an ink pad, then on a piece of paper next to her name. "Chinku," read Eunhae. "That means friend." And Chinku smiled back. And that is the end of this book. So the book was called The Name Jar.